The NFL season is finally here. Monday Night Football is approaching very, very fast. We're going to see Giants action. This week, this Monday night, the New York Giants home opener against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Today, we're going to be previewing the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road against the New York Giants. Here we go. Quickly before we start, guys, quick little serious message here. It is 9/11. You guys know what happened on this day. Very important time in our history. 19 years ago. It's very, very hard to believe that. But let's just remember this day, by keeping those that we love close to us, as we never know when it's our final day with them. For those of you guys that don't know, my father worked in the World Trade Center. He is alive. You guys know him in the comments. Pops, if you're watching this, love you, man. But he did work for the World Trade Center. He was one of the lucky ones. So that being said, always cherish your time with your family. And let's get on to the preview. So like I said, this Monday night, the Giants will be debuting at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now let's give the background and my initial thoughts on both of these teams before we get into the nitty-gritty. As you guys know, I give my initial thoughts at first. We go into the injury report, then we get into the 3 keys to success, and then we get into a roster comparison, and then I give my final thoughts and predictions. So let's get started. Coming into this year, the Pittsburgh Steelers are still looking strong. They had one of the top defenses last year, especially that helped them with the addition of Minkah Fitzpatrick, who was traded mid-season. Right now, the Steelers are coming off of one of their best defensive performances in recent years, as they found a way to get their secondary cooperating with their front seven, as it's been the front seven for a long time, as they've had guys come and go there in that secondary and not do very well. But they still don't have it completely fixed. But like I said, they have some really strong players. Mike Hilton is starting to develop. Minkah Fitzpatrick is a very strong point, a very good strong player. And Terrell Edmonds, their first round pick, is so-so, but they're able to get away with it. But the Pittsburgh Steelers on the offensive side of the ball, Big Ben is back, but not with the same offensive line. It doesn't look like years past with that great top 5 offensive line. It's definitely been downgraded and degraded just a little bit, but as far as the skill positions goes, it's very, very good. The wide receiving core has a lot of potential, not too much production, but a lot of potential, and they could stretch the field and score at any minute, as Joe Judge said himself in the press conferences. They have a running game that they're starting to develop. James Conner, and not as good as Le'Veon Bell, of course, but James Conner is good. Let's see if he stays healthy. And then they also drafted last year Benny Snell, and then this year Anthony McFarland. They also have Jalen Samuels there. Very strong running back by committee there in Pittsburgh. They also drafted Chase Claypool in a 3rd round last year, or 2nd round if I'm not mistaken, out of Notre Dame. This is a guy that can stretch the field at 6'4", outside receiver, and very, very fast. Think of him as Evan Ingram. If Evan Ingram could run some routes as a wide receiver, that's pretty much what Chase Claypool is, and it's very, very scary. The New York Giants are coming into this game just with a new offensive line with 3 new starters, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, new head coach who's never been a head coach before, but everything just seems to be gelling together. The Giants on the interior, their strong point is definitely the interior defensive line. Their weak point, probably the offensive line on the edges. So there's a lot of things that the Giants and the Steelers are really good at and not too good at. So that's why I think it's a very, very good matchup for both of these teams. So let's get into the injury report, and we'll start off with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Steelers are coming into this game without David DeCastro, who is going to be out with a knee injury. That means it should be probably rookie Kevin Dotson starting for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we'll see how that goes. If not, it'll probably be Steven Wisniewski, who was, I believe, a former Kansas City Chiefs player, and I think Philadelphia Eagle as well. But without David DeCastro, and Deontay Johnson, who did not practice on Thursday, is a full participant with a foot injury on Friday. So it seems like he is good to go for the Steelers. For the Giants, we have more guys on the injury report, but we don't have one guy that's not going to play. Our biggest scare pretty much was Marcus Golden, who was the only guy that did not practice, but it seems like he just got a rest day as he was listed as just with an illness, and it's not what you think it is, but he was a full participant on Friday. And Adrian Colbert, Tate Crowder, these depth guys were full participant and limited participants. They should be good to go. Levine Toilolo, limited participant with a hamstring injury, and Golden Tate seems to be okay. As check out these statements from Joe Judge in his press conference today about Golden Tate. Seems very optimistic.
Joe, how has Golden Tate looked coming back from that hamstring injury?
Yeah, he's moving well right now. Yeah, so we've been mixing him into some of the things we're doing in practice, individual, a little bit of teamwork, some group work. And he looks like he's coming along nice. So he's working hard every day and doing everything he can to get back.
So that is the injury report. Pretty relatively healthy on both sides. Now, Pittsburgh is going to be without their all-pro guard or their Pro Bowl guard, and the Giants are going to be without anybody. So we're going into a full 53-man roster week 1, which is something the Giants have not been used to, are not used to, and it's just very exciting. So let's get into the 3 keys to success. As you guys know, this is one of my favorite segments because I'm always right on this. And these 3 keys to success are going to be vital to the Giants' success or failure. It all depends if they want to listen to me. Let's get started with our first key to success, and that is quick throws. Listen, this front 7 that the Steelers have is very, very high motor guys, right? We have Stephon Tuitt. We have Cameron Hayward. We have Bud Dupree. We have TJ Watt. We have Vince Williams. We have I almost said Bud Dupree again. We have, what's his name? Bush, right? Bush, the Bush guy, the inside linebacker. His first name is escaping my mind right now. Devin Bush. I don't know why I forgot that, but Devin Bush, that front 7 is absolutely stacked. They have a little bit of a weakness there with Tyson Alualu at that nose tackle spot, but their front 7 is very, very strong. The Giants offense need to make quick throws and not give this front 7 an opportunity to hit Daniel Jones and possibly turn the ball over. We all know that Daniel Jones has a ball security issue. We don't know if that's completely fixed yet. We don't know if he's even made progress on that yet. So let's stay safe. Let's stay conservative. And if we do throw the ball, quick throws. This secondary, not very strong. As far as the cornerbacks go, I think our wide receivers match up fine against them when it comes to short to intermediate routes. We have a bunch of great route runners on the team. Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard, and Darius Slayton's getting better at that. So I have complete confidence in our Giants wide receivers versus the Steelers corners to make quick route running moves to get the ball faster and get the ball out of Daniel Jones' hands. So first key, quick throws. Second key, run the ball early and often. Now, with the Giants, like I said, Daniel Jones has a ball security issue. We want to limit the opportunities the front 7 has in getting the ball free and turning the ball over and limit our time of possession. We need to run the ball, defer to Saquon Barkley, Wayne Gallman, Dion Lewis, whoever it is. Let's get this ball moving. I know it's a strong front 7, and I know this is a team that can stop the run, but Saquon Barkley has demolished teams that can stop the run in the past. You look at last year against the Buffalo Bills, he killed them in week 2. He can do the same this week in week 1. I have complete confidence in that. And so let's run the ball early and often. Give Daniel Jones just a less of an opportunity to turn the ball over. My third key to success is going to be on the defensive side of the football for the Giants, and that is attack the offensive line. This offensive line is not where it used to be a couple of years ago, and they're also missing David DeCastro, one of their best guards and one of the best guards in the NFL. I believe our interior defensive line is going to manhandle this offensive line. Marquise Pouncey is still there, don't get me wrong, but this Filer, I don't know, never even heard of the guy before, and it should be the rookie starting there that they drafted. His name is escaping me already, but it should be the rookie they drafted to start in place of David DeCastro. So our interior should be okay. Now, Andrew Villanueva, who's okay, and also Zach Banner, who's okay. I have the utmost confidence in our edge rushers to try to get a push there. Attack this offensive line, Patrick Graham. Whether you have to make stunts, whether you have to blitz with your safeties, blitz with the middle linebackers, it doesn't matter. Let's get this offensive line on their toes, and let's scramble them up a little bit. Ben Roethlisberger is not where he was years ago. This guy's not going to be scrambling around the pocket, making guys miss inside the pocket. All right, he's pretty much going to stay in the pocket. He's not going to move and try to make a throw from in there. And I believe our guys can get there. Let's attack this offensive line. All right, so let's get into the roster comparisons. Let's throw the screen up. And let's get started. At the quarterback position, we're going to have Big Ben Roethlisberger versus Daniel Jones. Now, as much as I have confidence in Daniel Jones, I believe he's going to be probably at the end of this year better than Ben Roethlisberger statistically. I have to give the edge to Ben Roethlisberger. I know he's not where he used to be. I know he's on a, father time is calling, but Daniel Jones is coming off a season where he was okay. He was good. He was definitely better than expected, but he still has a huge fumbling issue. We don't know if that's still an occurrence yet. We'll have to see and find out. But Big Ben is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, future Hall of Famer. Like I said, don't really know how he's going to perform. I don't know how both these guys are going to perform, so I'm going to default to Ben Roethlisberger. Next, we have the running back room. And as much as I want to give it to the Giants because of Saquon Barkley, how great Saquon Barkley is, I'm just looking at the depth. And you know what? I'm actually going to give it to the Giants. I'm going to give it to the Giants just because the Pittsburgh Steelers run a running back by committee. So these guys are all going to be used. Connor, Snell, McFarland, Samuels, these guys are all going to be used. Saquon Barkley is pretty much a one-man show, and if he needs to come off the field, Gallman and Lewis should play a good role in there. So I'm going to give the edge to the Giants, as a matter of fact. I usually would go with the Steelers just because they have better depth, but as far as how these guys are going to be used, Saquon is probably going to double any of the Pittsburgh Steelers running backs carries. Next up, we have the wide receivers, and I'm going to give the edge. This is so weird for me because as much as I was praising this offense, I see the Giants getting edges here and there. I'm going to give the edge to the Giants here as far as the wide receiving core. Yes, Juju Smith is good. He's on a roller coaster type career. He had a really weird season as a number one. First season as a number one didn't really impress. He was better as a strong number two behind Antonio Brown, but his first season as a number one was not good. So we'll see how he does this year. Deontay Johnson should be a strong number. He's going to be a number two, but I think he's a strong number three. Chase Claypool is a rookie. We don't know how he's going to perform. James Washington is a burner that just can't find a way to remain consistent on the field. And so yeah, I'm not really too confident in Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiving core as far as consistency goes. If you look at the Giants receiving core, these guys are veterans. Darius Slayton pretty much highlights this wide receiving core as a second-year guy out of Auburn who's developing and looking really good. Golden Tate, we already know about Golden Tate, very experienced veteran, very good as far as yards after reception and yards after contact. And Sterling Shepard's one of the strongest route runners in the NFL. So I have to give the edge to the New York Giants. Now, as far as the tight ends go, I love Evan Ingram. I think he's one of the better tight ends in the league, but they have Vance McDonald and Eric Ebron there in Pittsburgh. Ebron is just a couple years removed from having a fantastic season with Indianapolis 2 years ago, where he led receivers in touchdowns or something like that. He was fantastic, and he's coming in as looks to me as the backup tight end here in Pittsburgh. Vance McDonald seems to be starting, so that is pretty peculiar if you ask me, but I'm going to have to give the edge to the Pittsburgh Steelers there. They have more talent at the tight end spot than the Giants. Next up, the offensive line. I know I was just ragging on the offensive line for the Steelers without David DeCastro. They have Zach Banner there and Andrew Villanueva. They have some experienced guys, though. I think Banner played last year, if I'm not mistaken. Marquise Pouncey is constantly a Pro Bowl center, and Andrew Villanueva is also a Pro Bowl left tackle. So, with that experience there, I have to give it to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Giants are coming into the season with 3 new offensive starters, and all 3 of these guys don't really have experience starting in the NFL. So, that being said, edge Steelers. All right, let's go to the defensive side of the football. Now, I love that they run a 3-4 scheme, so it's easier to compare these two defenses. Let's start off with the interior defensive line. Cameron Hayward, Tyson Alualu, and Stephon Tuitt versus Dexter Lawrence, Dalvin Tomlinson, and Leonard Williams. I'm going to have to give the edge. And I know a lot of people would say Steelers here because they have Cameron Hayward and Stephon Tuitt. But I have to give the edge to the Giants, actually, just because they don't have any weaknesses there on that defensive line. Leonard Williams is a former first-round pick, former top 10 pick. Dalvin Tomlinson is one of the best nose tackles in the NFL. And Dexter Lawrence is no joke, I think was rated the 8th best rookie, I think 8th best defensive rookie of the 2019 season. So I got to give it to the Giants here as far as interior defensive line. Let's look at the edge rushers now. Bud Dupree, Alex Highsmith, TJ Watt. TJ Watt and some guy I cannot pronounce, but this edge rushing core seems to be pretty good, and I like the Giants' depth, but as far as starters go, Bud Dupree and TJ Watt blow, Lorenzo Carter and O'Shane Ximena out the water. So I'm going to have to give the edge to the Steelers. Next, the inside linebackers, off-ball linebackers, Devin Bush and Vince Williams, compared to Blake Martinez and Devontae Downs. Got to give the edge, no doubt, to the Steelers. Next up, we have the cornerbacks. Now, the cornerback core has been a huge problem for the Steelers in the past, but it's not that much of a problem this year, as Joe Hayden seems to be a strong piece at the cornerback spot coming from the Cleveland, and also Steven Nelson and Mike Hilton, who's been there for a couple of years, really starting to develop as a good nickel back, and it seems to be very strong there in Pittsburgh. But with the New York Giants, I'm very confident in Darnay Holmes, although he is a rookie, and I'm confident in James Bradbury. The biggest question mark, however, is Corey Ballentine starting at that number 2 corner spot. So just because of that issue there, I'm going to have to give the edge to the Steelers. And last but not least, we have the safeties. Now, I want to give the edge so badly to the Giants just because of the talent we have at safety in Jabril Peppers, Logan Ryan, and Julian Love. We just don't know how they're going to perform. We kind of know how Jabril Peppers is going to do because he played last year, but Julian Love, this is going to be his first time getting real minutes as a safety. And, Logan Ryan, we've yet to see how he's going to play as a full-time safety. He's played a little bit of safety at Tennessee, but not a full-time role. So this is going to be very confusing, but Minkah Fitzpatrick's probably the best young safety in the NFL right now. He blows everybody out the water. He's going to be an all-pro coming up very soon. Instantly he just revitalized that whole entire Pittsburgh Steelers and just got them going. So he's got to be pretty good if he's able to do that. So I'm going to have to give the edge to the Steelers there, as they still have Terrell Edmunds and Sean Davis there at depth. So I really love their safety depth as well. So that is the roster comparison. You guys can see the Steelers outmatches just a little bit, but we still have some edges as far as appearance goes on paper. So that being said, I'm going to go into my final prediction. This is going to be a back and forth game. I don't think it's going to be a shootout, but I think there's going to be a lot of things that the Giants and Steelers take advantage of, whether that be the offensive or the defensive side of the football for both of these guys. I think the Giants are going to keep it competitive from the beginning, but as the fourth quarter approaches, I think Big Ben and his experience with that, with that offense, managing the offense, I believe they're going to be able to get it done and pull away from the Giants just a tad bit. As the Steelers, I have them winning 27-17, covering that 5.5 point spread. So if those of you guys are betting on the game, I would bet 5.5 points on the Pittsburgh Steelers. But that's just me. What about you guys? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new. I'll see you guys in the next video.